Hi, I'm Cody, and I did CNX Resources for my firm analysis. CNX Resources is a independent oil and gas company located in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania. Right now, they currently only serve the United States customers. They don't do any overseas sales. The last 3 quarters of 2018, they saw a decrease in their revenues, whereas some of their close competitors saw a increase. So that is something that we'll look at later. Currently, they're using a cost leadership strategy, which is targeting the lowest cost they can possibly use to reach consumers in the market. For the external environment, so opportunities and threats, some of the opportunities I see are their online presence. So using e-commerce and just online presence in general can use a great opportunity, because the way technology is advancing now, then a lot of things are becoming more technologically savvy. So that can definitely be used as an opportunity. Another one that I see as an opportunity is the low interest rates and like loans and inflation, things like that. So because they're low right now, they can utilize that to make advancements such as getting loans to use for facilities, technology, things like that. Whereas if it was in the future or in the past, in the higher rates, they would be spending more. Some of the threats that I see to them are the advancements of technology of their competitors. That can be a great threat to them, is in widening the gap between them and their competitors. And also exchange rates. If they were to enter the overseas market, they would see those exchange rates, those taxes, things like that, that can be much more costly on them. Another threat is substitutes for energy. So as years go, we see substitutions for energy that can pose a threat to the independent oil and gas. Some of the critical success factors that I saw were the management should be more autonomous at CNX Resources, and they should put more funds into the research development, and they have ways that can improve their staffing. The strategic problem is primarily research and development. So right now they're spending a little over the average of funds on research and development, but they're still spending significantly less than their competitors, and that can really pose a threat to how their competitors are gaining a better share of the market, whereas CNX's could be decreasing. And also their staffing, they need to look more into diversifying their staff, because right now they do not have a very diversified staff at all. Some of the strategic alternative they could use is, like I said, the cost strategy, where they use lower costs to gain control of the market. But there are also cons to the cost leadership strategy, and it typically requires cuts in finances, because you're trying to make it as cheap as you can and also sell it, and the margins aren't that great. You have good profits, but you won't have profits growing exponentially. There's the differentiation strategy, and that is having uniqueness of your product. It creates more market share, it builds your reputation, but it also takes the convincing of the customer to get that perception of how your product is different from others. There's also a focus strategy, and that's narrowing or tailoring your market to a specific customer in the market, and or a specific type of customer in the market. And this limits your competition. You go for those specific needs, but it could be too specific. It could narrow so much that CNX doesn't have enough market to make those revenues they need to make and to increase over time. Some of the recommendations that I make is using the differentiation strategy. I think if they use that, they can use the uniqueness of their product, differentiate it from others in their market similar to them, and then they can gain more control of the market and get a larger market share. They should bulk up their research and development. So right now they're spending a little above average on research and development, but I believe they are spending significantly less than their competitors. So if they spend much more on that, I believe it would do better for them in the long run. And also staffing, they need to diversify their staff, which I'll talk about implementing that. So for the implementations, I believe they should spend $1.5 million more per year on the research and development. This can be used for training their staff, their current employees, getting them to learn new technologies, building facilities, things like that to greatly benefit CNX resources. I believe they should become more autonomous. So right now they have management, they all meet together, all the executives, and make decisions, and then it eventually goes to the CEO to make the final say. This can take more time than it should, so I believe if they became more autonomous and each executive could make more decisions in their department, things would move faster and they would be able to make advancements at a quicker rate. And also staffing. They need to campaign their staff to diversify it more. Right now, they're not diversified at all, and I believe if they were to enter markets outside of Pennsylvania, such as going to college fairs, career fairs, things like that, they can present their businesses there and diversify their labor force and bring in more talent into their force. So overall, I think CNX Resources is doing decent with their strategy. I believe they can change their strategy to a differentiation strategy, which I believe can greatly improve it, along with the research development, staffing, and becoming more autonomous. I believe they can achieve greater success. Thank you.